We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. Machinery that gives abundance has left us in want. We think too much and feel too little. More than machinery, we need humanity.
We know the air is unfit to breathe and our food is unfit to eat. As if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy.
Silence! The great and powerful Oz knows why you have come.
You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value.
You have meddled with the primal forces of nature.
Don't give yourselves to brutes. Men who despise you, enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, or what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as cannon fodder. Don't give yourselves to these unnatural men with machine minds and machine hearts.
It's time to buckle up for making sense of the madness.
And who loves you? And who do you love?
Hey everybody, Jason Bermas here, and once again, it feels like a carrot is being dangled in front of the entire world with the announcement that new, never before released, unseen Epstein documents are coming in short order. And this comes from James Comer and Pam Bondi. Now, I wonder what exactly this documentation will be. I expect a lot of things that have already been known to be reestablished. And I don't know that we are going to get anything with a ton of quote-unquote meat on the bone. I hope that I am in fact wrong about this. Okay, because there has been now a reemergence of mainstream media publishing things that were obviously somewhere out there in the public arena of investigation that we had not seen before. For instance, we knew that a lot of things in that New York investigation were censored. And we're going to show you some of those things today, from the binders to many of the photographs in the background. Well, those photographs, many of them, got published. And one is not a photograph at all. Instead, it is a signed dollar bill by Bill Gates to Jeffrey Epstein saying, "You were right." So the implication there is these are extremely wealthy men. There's no need to bet anything of significance. The significance is having the admission of this other titan of business, money, power, whatever, writing their name down and saying, "I was wrong." Bill Gates is amongst them. And then on that same little soiree is a picture of him and the Donald, even though supposedly they'd have a massive falling out, him and the Clintons, but also him with many, many individuals of importance, including the current prince of Saudi Arabia. And look, we hear Israel, Israel, Israel all the time when it comes to Epstein, and rightfully so for those connections. However, the Saudi Arabian connection has never, ever, ever, ever been explored properly by the mainstream media and unfortunately the vast majority of the alternative media. So what we're going to do in this broadcast, and I asked the question broadly on X. Hopefully you're following me on X, The link's down below right there next to the Buy Me a Coffee. Could use your support. We'll get to that in a moment. But I asked the question, what do you think they're going to release via these Epstein files? Now, that is the broad question today. I'm actually asking the audience, and at the end of the broadcast, we are going to go through your Ask Me Anything, okay? We're going to go through the chat. Look, we got the chat running. Let's bring that up. See, we got the chats are running. Thank you, Ryan. We could use everybody's support. Really do need you now more than ever, but again, we'll get into that. You tell me. And widely, and I mean widely, okay? The vast majority of people responded with a whole lot of nothing or sarcastic answers like the Epstein client list. There is no client list. That is not a real thing. That is not a real thing. And unfortunately, and this is kind of bothering me, I actually had a short back and forth with my buddy Kurt Metzger about it last night. Michael Tracy seems to be attacking the idea that Epstein was nothing more than somebody who liked to have sex with teenage girls and was very rich. That's not what was happening at all. I mean, you look, and we're gonna take a look at a lot of this stuff, at the connections, the currying favor, the fact that Epstein, outside of his money management skills, amongst a bunch of arms dealers and power brokers, okay, he's in the Council on Foreign Relations, he's in the Trilateral Commission, he's at the White House between 93 and 95, 17 times with Clinton. And it wasn't just currying favor, it was building political alliances. But again, the idea that this may have been used to compromise people, etc. Apparently, he hasn't read the documents in which, this girl has a horrific experience and wakes up on an island she wasn't on. That one. Or maybe he just doesn't believe it. We could maybe discuss Michael Tracy's motives. Maybe that's something you want to talk about in the chat later. But with that being said, we're going to go over what's coming up via Epstein, okay, and what we can expect. And I'm going to tell you what I think we can expect. And then we're also going to do a little piece right here. We're going to read this. New York Magazine has done really great work on the Epstein case. We hear a lot about the Miami Herald, etc., and they've done some phenomenal stuff, right? Palm Beach Post, all that stuff. New York Mag, as far as like a national, but really international as it is New York, Mag, has done some of the best work and some of the least sensational work as well on the Epstein connections, what we actually know. And this is a great piece on Ghislaine Maxwell, so we're going to read that whole thing as well. With that being said, let's get the thumbs up, subscribe, share. Folks, I can't emphasize it enough. I want to continue to bring you the news. I want to continue to go over these obscure articles that nobody else seems to talk about, these issues which often get some kind of a partisan, right, left, conservative, liberal spin that's nothing but Johnny nonsense, in my opinion. So please, please, please consider supporting the broadcast financially, $5, $10, $15. Big donors, thank you so much. You don't like to buy me a coffee? You want to be more anonymous? There is a PayPal down below. I want to thank you guys that have supported me in the past and continue to support me in the future. If you want a lot of the raw articles that maybe we don't get to all the time, right? Like you see right here, Bev Harris. This is some good stuff. Black box voting. Might not do a video on that. Destiny Resendez talking about the Epstein files. I told you I was a snake before you took me in. I mean, just some really good stuff. Derek Bros, Pyramid of Power. Give me the follow on X. What's it going to hurt? Ring that bell. Just like you want notifications for this channel, you get much more there. And if you can, and you are in that D.C. area from the 10th to the 12th, I'll be speaking virtually, and I actually have a promo code. I don't know. They just sent it to me last night. I would, of course, encourage everybody to do this no matter what. Use my promo code or not. But let's see. What is this code? It's like Bermas something or other. It's Bermas 10. Bermas 10. Bermas 10, even though I'm speaking on the 11th. And they may move me a bit, but some really heavy hitters. Ron Johnson, Kurt Weldon, Dennis Kucinich, John Kiriakou, etc. I'm really looking forward to it. And look, we have made some headway, just like we've made huge headway in this Epstein case. Again, the only reason they're releasing documents they said didn't exist was because we put pressure on them. Okay? And that's we got to keep doing that. Same thing with 9/11. So if you can get to D.C., get there. Secret Epstein files will be made public for the first time ever, with a mandatory condition that could drive Trump supporters mad. Oh, you think? The whole thing is driving not only Trump supporters mad, but it's made it a potent political talking point even of the mainstream left. Even of the mainstream left. You know, it was Kimberly and Brady last week here in Iowa, in the Quad Cities, Davenport, Iowa, that there was a literal sign, one of the electric signs, where they got a picture of Trump and Epstein together, and they're going after Senator Marionette Miller Meeks. Pritzker, one of the worst governors out there, right? I mean, a pretty abhorrent human being, in my opinion. He's digging at Trump, saying, release the Epstein files, etc. It's become a political hotbed. Let's read this here. Oh, sorry, wrong one. Let's bring it up. Lawmakers in Congress expect to begin receiving Department of Justice files on Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking case this week. We shall see. I'm not holding my breath, but again, we'll see. Remember, Schumer and the gang, we played this one, invoked the rule of five, whatever that means. House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer, the leader of the House probe into Epstein, announced that the DOJ will send over Epstein files on Friday. The files are expected to include never-before-seen documents related to the late, well-connected New York financier's 2019 federal sex trafficking investigation. And we're going to show you some of those documents in a moment. But the files are expected to contain heavy redactions. Oh, really? You think? To protect the identities of the victims and other sensitive information. See, there it is, other sensitive information. They always throw that in. National security interests, other sensitive information. That's anticipated to anger Trump supporters. No, it angers anybody who has been following this case, who have been clamoring for the files to be released in their entirety to avoid the appearance of a cover-up. Not appearance of a cover-up, okay? I've told you no matter what, aspects of this will continue to be covered up. They don't want that intelligence thing out there. They don't want that arms dealing thing out there. They don't want a connection to the Iran-Contra network. I assure you. I absolutely assure you. There are many records in the DOJ's custody, and it will take the department time to produce all the records and ensure the identification of victims and any child sex abuse materials are redacted, the Kentucky Republican said in a statement. Comer initially subpoenaed the DOJ for the Epstein files on August 5th. At the time, the chairman gave the department until August 19th to hand over the documents. And remember, Massey and others, I think he had Ro Khanna with him, was trying to introduce legislation before the break to ensure the documents come out. And these people, I guarantee you, behind the scenes have scrambled. Scram-diddly-ambled to figure out what they want to put out to frame a narrative. His announcement that the files come by Friday appears to give the federal agency additional time to prepare the Epstein investigation documents. When the Daily Mail asked the DOJ if they would turn over the Epstein files by the deadline on Tuesday, and so they asked him yesterday, and that would be on Friday, no comment. No comments for you. No comment. We're so transparent. No comment. It's unclear whether the files of the DOJ plan to hand over are the same ones that would be released under the bipartisan bill, this is what I was talking about, that could force the department to release all its files on Epstein, except for a few exceptions. It also remains to be seen whether the files expected to be released on Friday will satisfy voters' demands to see the Epstein documents. I don't know that it's going to be, okay? And now, what I want to do is I want to dick-a-dick-a-do here. I want to bring up a bunch of these documents so everybody can see them because, again, they're in the public arena, everybody. Now, first of all, let's do this. Those hard drives that you see right there, and there's one of the pictures that they did show you. You know, Ghislaine Maxwell, who is in prison, who we had that very, very scary report that was apparently debunked by her lawyer, that she may now even be in some kind of a work release program from the country club prison that she was moved to after talking to the DOJ behind closed doors for 2 days. I don't know if that one's been settled. I'm not saying she has gotten work release. I'm not saying she hasn't. I am saying she definitely talked to the Department of Justice. I am saying that her lawyer, and really from the get-go, they thought they were safe because of the non-prosecution agreement from the Miami Beach case. Okay? So now they're taking it to the top. They're taking it to the Supreme Court to see if that case that she's currently serving time in prison for even holds up because of that non-prosecution agreement that we've never seen anything like. It's totally beyond the pale and involves not only Ghislaine Maxwell, but reportedly, got to be very careful these days, reportedly Sarah Kellen, Leslie Groth, Adriana Ross, and Nadia Marcinkova. Now, that's another problem with this narrative from Michael Tracy. If all of those people, including Ghislaine Maxwell, needed some kind of non-prosecution agreement in the 2007-8 case, why do you think that is, Michael? Why do you think that is? So let's continue. These are binders. Okay? And remember, we've now seen the dollar bill. We've seen pictures of Epstein at Trump's wedding, right? Just like for many years, we saw Chelsea Clinton's wedding and Ghislaine Maxwell in the background, etc. Right? They had a real relationship there. Even RFK Jr. said Ghislaine Maxwell was extremely kind to him all the time. So take a look. Binders, not just hard drives, but binders. And remember this. Of course. Oh, wait, no, that's not what I did. Sorry about that. Hold on. We'll just do a little bit of this. My mistake. There we go. It says right here that those hard drives have details about the relationship of Max. Can you imagine what's on those hard drives? And again, they have evidence tape on them already. So, and these are, these are IDE drives. These are old school. They're not even SATA drives for my fellow dorks out there. And then, of course, you have the dated burned discs. Again, there's definitely some stuff on these burned discs. And with these folders, they could be pictures or they could be discs like that. Binders like that, right, like your old CD binders, each page on each side has 4 and 4. That's 8 of them. Okay? A DVD that's not a dual layer, and dual layer, believe me, out there for many years by the time that this gets rated, 4.7 gigabytes of files. You got to ask yourself, what is this? And you see this one right here. It says AV shoot. AV shoot. So that tells me audio video shoot. That's what that stands for in the biz. Okay? This one. AV photos. See that? So this is probably video. And then this is probably photos. You get it? And actually, you know what? I've never realized this before. But you can see the gigabyte right here. And is it a 4.7 or is it a dual layer? It's a Macintosh type DVD. They're pretty hardcore. He went with the expensive ones. Shocking. And like I said, there you go. There are those hard drives we were talking about. All this stuff, including from the Brad Edwards case, in which, basically Epstein, and maybe I'll read that because I think I have it up on another window right here. I think I could read that for everybody. Okay, the agreement that they made. Here it is right here. Let's see exactly. I'm going to read it for word for word. In fact, maybe I'll bring it right up over here on this other side for everybody to see it. As soon as they were ready to pick the jury, and they were picking the jury, Epstein conceded this. Okay, let's read it for you. While Mr. Edwards was representing clients against me, I filed a lawsuit against him in which I made allegations about him that the evidence conclusively proves were absolutely false. The truth was that his aggressive investigation and litigation style was highly effective and therefore troublesome for me. The lawsuit I filed was my unreasonable attempt to damage his business reputation and cause Mr. Edwards to stop pursuing cases against me. It did not work. Despite my efforts, he continued to do an excellent job for his clients and through his relentless pursuit, held me responsible. I am now admitting that I was wrong and that the things I said to try to harm Mr. Edwards' reputation as a trial lawyer were false. I sincerely apologize for the false and hurtful allegations I made and hope for some forgiveness for my acknowledgement of wrongdoing. Giuffre Epstein, and then he paid him an undisclosed amount of money. Okay? Now, Edwards is also the guy that talked to Trump. Allegedly, his interview with Derek Brose, who we gave a shout out to already here, his interview with Derek Brose, okay, he says he called everybody in that contact book, okay? And Trump is the only one that contacted him back and worked with him. Take that for what you will. But look at look at the boxes of documents. Boxes. Now you're going to tell me that none of that information was part of that New York criminal case when he represented so many of the victims? Come on. Come on now. Come on now. Come on now. Let's see. I think that these two right here, I mean, there he is in his little getup, whether or not you think he was, military intelligence, et cetera, et cetera. On the other side, I have seen, a ton of disinformation, misinformation about this document right here, that it was only just released, the one that proves that Epstein had given information to the FBI, but doesn't show you who it was approved or drafted by. Okay? But absolutely an FBI informant. It wasn't leaked. That wasn't just released. That's back in 2019 we got that. Back in 2019. Come on. That's all I'm saying. And remember, this establishment right here in Zorro Ranch, never. Let's just bring it all the way back. In the middle of the desert, on a mountain ridge, all this, never investigated. Never investigated. Look at the little trail that goes to never investigated. Yeah, I'm sure everything was on the up and up there, and the two islands that Epstein had. All right. Told you I was going to read this one. And then we're going to go to your questions and comments on the Epstein case. So get them in. What do you think we're going to see? Do you think the public gets to see anything on Friday? Probably not. It's just a turnover of documents. Do you think we get to see anything by September? Do you think there's anything of significance? Do you think anyone's going to be indicted? Please let me know what you think, but we're going to read this one. Ghislaine Maxwell was more powerful than anyone knew. A new book reveals how she used Prince Andrew to benefit Giuffre Epstein and herself. So far, Prince Andrew, Duke of York, is the only one of many public figures drawn into the orbit of Giuffre Epstein to have had his life essentially destroyed as a result. It's kind of true. Although they're trying to do it with Trump, but they've tried that on so many angles it almost doesn't stick. They've given a pass to Clinton. And then there are numerous others. I mean, Woody Allen's still alive. He's just been a quiet pariah now for almost, what, 3 decades? Just about 3 decades. He's been just a quiet pariah. Like, I guess you can't really ruin his reputation. You still got a bunch of Holly weirdos that want to be in his films that totally suck. That are, in my opinion, pretty unwatchable. In a disastrous 2019 BBC interview, during which he displayed no contrition or empathy for his late friend's victims, Andrew said he would forever rue the day he met Epstein. Oh, they all say that. It would have been more accurate to have invoked the day he met Ghislaine Maxwell, who led him to Epstein. In fact, it now emerges that Maxwell was far more than Epstein's main procurer and accomplice in trafficking of young women for abuse. The idea that she was merely a useful sidekick rather than an equal. On the contrary, she was also the enabler of his social climbing. It was she who brought to him the skills to entice powerful and celebrated public men into becoming regular guests of his in New York, Palm Beach, New Mexico, and on his private island, 2 islands, in the Caribbean. All this becomes incrementally clear through the narrative of a devastating new biography on Andrew, entitled by royal historian Andrew Loney. We showed you some of that. That's where Loney actually talks about the sexual relationship between Ghislaine Maxwell and Prince Andrew. And the resulting portrait of Maxwell gives new gravity to importance as the last keeper of the sex offender secrets, a kind of personalized walking and maybe talking Epstein file that could have enormous potential consequences for many people, including Donnie T. It turns out that the Duke played an unwitting role in enhancing Maxwell's influence. One of the most effective techniques was to dangle the chance of meeting him as a bait for people who would be impressed by simply being in the same room as Andrew. Oh, a royal. Oh, my. Unfortunately, that's real, everybody. We've talked about that. We've talked about how even in our society, westernized society, where there's not as much of an obsession with royalty as there is in European society, all of our young daughters, we teach them to dress up like princesses with crowns and watch Disney films about the same thing. By the way, something apparently true of Woody Allen. Oh, Woody Allen liked to be around royalty. Isn't that nice? We just mentioned him. Who, according to the New York Times report, was wide-eyed at seeing Andrew at Epstein's New York mansion. Lowney cites a friend of Andrew's, warning Ghislaine is manipulating him, and he's too naive to realize it. She's his social fixer, and he's going along with it. Why? Because I think Epstein's fantastically impressed by it all. It all was very premeditated, Lowney himself agrees. Epstein, he tells me, was socially gauche and in awe of Maxwell's success in landing big fish. Lowney's book is the product of prodigious research. He found 300 well-placed sources ready to talk to him. To that, he added his own extensive knowledge of the royals, but on 2 of his previous revelatory biographies of Windsor family mentor Lord Louis Mountbatten and his wife, Edwina. Oh, Louis Mountbatten. You know what he was known as? Louis Mountbottom. And not because he was just a closeted homosexual. We have FBI documents, and we're going to do that live. We like to do things live here.
We'll do it live.
Okay.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it, and we'll do it live.
So we're just going to type in Lord Mountbatten, FBI, young boys. A lust for young boys. Wait, did that stop the U.S.'s relationship with, it was our intelligence services that figured this out. Huh? Did we stop? Did we put that? No, we didn't. Just kind of a thing. Sorry, had to derail it for a moment, everybody. Okay? Just incredible. So let's continue here. Man, just the rabbit holes you can go down. Okay? In his book called Traitor King of the Nazi Stooges, the Duke and the Duchess of Windsor, judging from how the British press had reacted to his new book, he has destroyed any hopes that Andrew might have had to return to public life after his banishment from royal duties in 2019. I mean, I think none of them should have royal duties because it's 2025, and the ludicrous idea of rule by bloodline and me putting a cape and a crown on you is absolutely bonkers. It's bonkers town. Loney reveals how the relationship between Andrew and Maxwell began and developed. In an interview from his London home, he confirmed that the Duke had known Maxwell since she was a student at Oxford in the early 1980s, a time when Andrew was enjoying the glory of having flown a Royal Navy helicopter in the 1982 war with Argentina over the Falkland Islands. Loney's book gives full credit to the young prince's courage under fire. Yeah. You like when, Prince Harry went over into the Middle East. Yeah, I'm sure they're frontline combat. I'm sure they're really in the mix. After that, as Loney tells it, what began as a casual and occasional affair grew into something bigger. Maxwell, intellectually capable, well beyond Andrew's level, very cunning individual, very smart individual. That's why she was her father's favorite. Robert Maxwell, media mogul, multi-spy, that guy. Yes, very cunning. I mean, I'm sure she is irate every single moment that she ended up in a cage. She really thought she was smarter than everybody. Guaranteed. Okay? Grew into the role of a favorite courtesan who, while enjoying overnight sleepovers at Buckingham Palace, passed on gossip from a politically wider world than the familiar to the prince. Andrew's marriage to Sarah Ferguson in 1986, the book gives an unforgiving account of the marriage, and its excess was just short of an interruption in the Duke's relationship with Maxwell. By the end of the 1990s, Maxwell had returned as an influencer in Andrew's life and introduced him to a new friend, Giuffre Epstein. The date of Andrew's first meeting with Epstein is disputed. The Duke claims to have met Epstein early in 1999. No. But Lowney quotes Andrew's private secretary, Alistair Watson, saying that they met in the early 1990s. Whatever the case, in 1999, with Maxwell's help, Epstein had a rapidly opening path into the world of the Windsors. It was well before 99, period. Well before 99. In July, Andrew invited Maxwell and Epstein to stay at a lodge at the Balmore estate in Scottish Highlands. A mind-boggling, inappropriate gesture by Andrew, considering that this was his mother's favorite royal retreat. She was not there at the time. Yeah, there's pictures of Epstein and Maxwell in this little wooden cottage, and in the same cottage is the Queen. Balmoral was followed in December by Sandringham when Epstein and Maxwell arrived for a 2-day shooting party in a plane given access to a Royal Air Force airfield usually reserved for VIPs. I just love for VIPs. Who do you think's paying for all this, guys? It's the British citizenry. Okay? At the end of the day. For an unaccountable an unaccountable, unelected class that just can be as criminal as they like. Andrew threw a surprise 39th birthday party for Maxwell. By this time, more people were having misgivings about Maxwell's influence over Andrew. A friend of his ex-wife warned, "We must break the hold that Ghislaine has on him." But they didn't. Meanwhile, back in Florida, Maxwell was selecting victims for Epstein. Most infamously, she found Virginia Giuffre at the spa at Mar-a-Lago and joined Epstein in sexually assaulting her. That led later to Maxwell's small townhouse in London, where the picture of Andrew with his arm around Giuffre was taken, even though Andrew denied it ever happened. With Maxwell looking on Loney, tells me that Epstein, and by the way, Ghislaine Maxwell says that photograph's fake. Others in her family say it's fake. Andrew has said it's fake. Just want to put that out there. There's more than that photograph. I'd have to fish out the video, but a video I did either in 2018 or 19, I literally went through the vacation photos from that era. He was far from annoyed and rather turned on. She was good at spotting who was susceptible, and she had become indispensable to Epstein in New York and in London. She was far better socially connected than he was. One of the ironies of Maxwell's social ascent is she became a consummate insider, something that her tycoon father, Robert Maxwell, had strived to become all his life and never became. That's not true. He was very much more of an insider than they're giving him credit. I mean, that's why they used him as a spy. His checkered business career ended in scandal and a probable suicide, drowning. Yeah, fell off the Lady Ghislaine, one of his boats. Fell off the boat. It's a probable suicide, drowning. In 1991, when he was aboard the yacht that he had named for her, the Lady Ghislaine, Lowney reports from bank records that between 1999 and 2007, Epstein gave her more than $30 million to restore her lifestyle to which she had been accustomed. Okay? We're not going to read the last two, okay? You get it. There's a lot there. So with that being said, thumbs it up, subscribe, share. We're going to go to your questions and comments in a moment. Okay, and one more time, please consider financially supporting the broadcast down below. Also checking out all the documentary films. Okay, let's do it to it right now. Oh, sorry, right there, all the way through. And of course, my mother is calling me. We're going to have to just hang that up because we are on the air. Okay? All right, let's do that. Epstein didn't act alone. He served in a network, the same circles the Great Reset today ran in his world. Coincidence or corruption is policy. Lots of transhumanism, lots of stuff outside of just banking, etc. All those things. Okay? Do want to thank Chris for supporting me. I just see that in my notes as well. Really do appreciate that. Heck yeah, I got 15 minutes left for lunch. Let's go. 226 days from releasing the Epstein information on. I mean, those folders were just such a bad joke, everybody. Right? I think we can all agree about that. Yes, they were terrible. Just redacted pages of nothing. They're telling you a lot of them are going to be redacted. Charlie Chaplin, liked him young. Yes, I've read that. I mean, I think it's in Chaplin with Robert Downey Jr. I haven't watched that probably since I was a teenager. Getting really tired of eating nothing burgers on this prison planet. I feel ya. Scam Blondie comes from James Comey. Spam Blondie. We got 34 people in the chat. Let's get 34 thumbs up. Let's see. Thank you so much, Ryan. Really appreciate you helping out. The Epstein tax thing with Trump makes sense. I'm not sure what tax we're talking about there. This thing goes deep. I don't believe that. See, nobody runs everything. And I know you don't mean the juice. Sorry, nobody runs everything. That's not the real world. There's no group, especially ethnic, religious, even social, that rule everything. There are competing factions of powerful individuals and institutions that act gangster-like, beyond what we know as normal gangsters, global gangsters. Oh, thank you, Cameron. We really appreciate the support on Friday. Hey, well, again, I want to keep doing this. I hope you want me to keep doing this. More and more, I really, and who knows, maybe I'll be able to do both, but that's a grind. I keep thinking about reopening. I've never opened my own pizzeria, but getting back into the pizza business and just opening a family pizzeria. Because then I can stress less about bills. But I want to hang on hope that maybe there is another venue out there that can support the broadcast. You know, having 3 separate venues that unfortunately just could not financially survive doing that in the last couple of years is tough. It's tough, and it was a blessing while it happened. Trump just called Netanyahu, a war hero. Yes, ridiculous. Awful. Should totally be called out on that all the time. Should have been called. We did call him out. Should have been called out immediately for talking about the end of Palestine and beachfront property. And here we are in a very bad spot. Bad spot. X censored posts not just for Israel. Okay? I just want that really clear. It's for our own Defense Department. Elon Musk was never your buddy. He's a defense contractor. Nobody has ever addressed the signature reduction program. Like, there was always even admissions, and it just kind of went by the wayside, that former FBI and DOD were all in X or Twitter when it was still Twitter. I mean, none of this is new. But it's like, I got to hear that, it's a free speech platform. Is it? I mean, I pay for X, so right now we can stream to X, and I want you to follow me there so you can see like the raw stuff too. But this stream on X, even with people scrolling by, if there's 1,000 people that watch this, maybe 2, okay, maybe 2 would be pretty high for these streams. That means maybe 20 people actually sat down and watched a chunk of it. Sad. And 47,000 followers over there, 71 in the chat. No, we got 107. Let's get 100 thumbs up at this point. Do appreciate you, Ryan. Kerp has been name dropping the Bermas Brigade a lot lately. Nice to see you getting recognition. I love Kerp. Kurt and I, like I said, we had a really good conversation, not only about Michael Tracy and what he's saying about Epstein and going after people like Whitney Webb, but more than that. Again, Chris, thank you so much. We really appreciate you. Super weird how now it's not a conspiracy, huh? No. Question, do you think it is possible they will not release the files because the intel agencies use pedo-blackmail methods as one of their methods and do not want the outrage or method lost? I think sources and methods is always an excuse. I think that, yes, you have that underage aspect, but it doesn't always have to be underage. Some of these people are just married and in compromising positions. I think the big thing is you don't ever want to admit this guy is an intelligence asset anywhere, because then you obscure this view of James Bond and Jason Bourne, and yeah, it's a little bit dirty, but it's not Epstein dirty. Oh no, it's Epstein dirty. Transparency needed across the board. I agree. What do you think of Andrew Bailey being brought on as co-deputy director? I just read that. Out of Missouri, right? It gives me some hope that they might be intending to go after the perpetrators. Not much hope, but a little. I don't know, man. I think they're putting their eggs into the Russiagate basket, which isn't necessarily wrong. I mean, so many crimes were committed via Russiagate. You notice now I'm actually talking about real indictments, not fairy tale ones, not imagination ones, not sealed ones. Like, there might actually be indictments. I remain hugely skeptical that they are going to be able to use those indictments in successful prosecutions for anybody to go to jail. Even somebody as, somewhat significant, but as far as the apex of power, kind of a minion, as Adam Schiff. Schiff should be in prison for everything that he's done. I don't know that's going to happen. I really don't. Indicted, maybe. We could see the indictments. So is Trump and Clinton's and Clinton cousins, or no, just good friends? I think they're friends. I've heard all sorts of things about Trump that I've never, ever, 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 ever been able to confirm, right? I've heard he's a 33rd degree Mason. Is he a Mason at all? Maybe somebody could send me that. I don't know. They shown me the stuff with the Wailing Wall, and he's a secret Jew, and I'm like, I don't believe that either. Just because that's a political move. We've seen so many people do that. As far as Clinton cousins, don't get it wrong. First of all, there's that conspiracy theory, Chris, out there, and I don't know if it's true, that Bill Clinton was fast-tracked because he's actually the illegitimate son of one of the Rockefellers. Okay? And his father isn't really who they say he is. Now, you might think that's crazy, but we talked about Chelsea Clinton earlier today, and we're going to do it live. We're going to do it live here. But Chelsea Clinton is not Bill Clinton's. I guess sue me. But Chelsea Clinton is not Bill Clinton's biological daughter. That's ridiculous. You know, and that's something you never hear. You hear about the philandering of Trump and whatever. That's fine. That's a criticism you can give out. Hillary Clinton, Vince Foster, and now we're going to show you Webb Hubbell. Okay? We do it live. We don't have to hit the button twice. So we'll just go to right here. Okay? And we just hit images. And if you don't think that Webb Hubbell, who was a law partner with Hillary Clinton and a big part of that Whitewater scandal, I mean, take a look at her face. Okay? All right? You get it? Webb Hubbell's been asked about this, by the way. He's given a big old no comment. Chelsea Clinton also confronted on it, just starts talking about how wonderful her father, Bill Clinton, is. Just saying. I mean, these are just like some of the small deceptions that are out there that we should definitely be paying attention to. Just want to throw that out there. All right, let's keep going down. Again, thumbs it up, subscribe, and share, everybody. Let's see. Why is Trump in Netanyahu's pocket? It's more than his donors. He's a lame duck. Do you think Mossad has something on him? If so, what? I don't know that they have anything illegal on him. I don't think the president is as powerful, especially in these arenas of war, that most people think he is. I think he generally wants this all to stop, but he can't. I don't think he's in Netanyahu's pocket. However, you know, Kushner, staunch Zionist, it is his son-in-law. Michael Wolff claims that he saw a picture of Trump with a bunch of topless women when he interviewed Epstein. We just showed you those big binders. We showed you the burned discs. Maybe something of that nature, right? It doesn't just have to be, everybody, sex with kids. Doesn't have to just be that. Doesn't even have to be, you know, full on. We've got videotape, you know, from a mirror or a hidden camera or something like that. It could be something as simple as Bill Gates on a yacht with the wrong people. You get it? Okay? So you had that Jerusalem Post article talking about all those things that were released via Epstein and Trump after he refused more military action via Iran after those bombings that I think were extremely dangerous and I still don't support. Again, I don't support us bombing anybody into the Stone Age, especially when we're talking about technology here that is supposedly going to be utilized for artificial intelligence. So everybody talks about these people being in the Stone Age and the Stone Age. No, Iran is pretty advanced, and they have a pretty advanced military, and they do have a somewhat secular culture in places. And so they're not allowed to grow. They're not allowed nuclear power. You know, I looked it up. There's supposedly, 31 nations with some type of nuclear power. But again, none of those are the Middle Eastern nations. Not the ones that we don't like anyway. But India, Pakistan. Okay. Blackmail, black folders. Let's see. People association with Epstein after his first conviction bear hard scrutiny. They should. Jess Staley getting in his hot tub. I mean, that's why the banks paid out, other than the money laundering. It's because they all did business with him and joked about it in emails, and they didn't want more coming out. Right? Barclays, all of them. JP Morgan. I mean, they paid big money. Big money into compensation funds. Is this channel on the up and up, or is there no information allowed channel get silenced? Because I got something to say about the concerning what just happened with Trump releasing the PDF in Vegas 5 days ago. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What PDF? Jason was heavily punished and censored from the beginning. He is always seeking the truth. So, PDF back to Israel. Why would we believing any? What? Fly a PDF? Oh, you're talking about the cybersecurity official? Hey, you're late to the game, bro. We reported that days ago. I know that everybody's just jumping on the last couple of days. We actually waited, I think, 24 to 48 hours after I reported on it when WikiLeaks reported on it. And by me reporting on it, I mean putting it out on X. That's why you follow me on X. PDF. Listen, man, we'll just say the words here. Thanks. PDF. See, I work with Adobe. When I hear PDF, I think of a file format. In fact, when we read that Epstein quote to Brad Edwards. That was a PDF file. So yeah, no, that's cyber. We go even further here. You don't even know why he was in Vegas, do you? He was there for Black Hat. All right? So you want to sit here and Israel, Israel, Israel. No, Black Hat had a lot more than just Israelis in it. Extremely significant. Although we also read some of his social media posts talking about the significance of the Israeli presence at Black Hat with artificial intelligence. Are you guys not aware of what I mean? It's a bad joke when these newbies jump in here and think they're going to have a gotcha moment. It's almost funny. I mean, it is funny. I'm laughing about it. I mean, I suppose, guys, that's a good point. We're going to come back for just a few more questions, and then we're going to wrap it up. But just a really good point. Please support the broadcast. There's no agendas here whatsoever. There's no preconceived viewpoints other than we're going to search for the truth, that we don't play team baseball, that we don't make broad stroke comments and accusations of Johnny nonsense with no knowledge of the current situation. And by the way, when I don't know the current situation, I will plead ignorance. I know a lot of you watched that debate that I had via Ukraine, Russia, Lev Parnas, Matt Tardio, Malcolm Nance. I mean, some really hardcore pro-war, pro-Ukraine people. And despite the fact that, I largely think that I did great in that debate, I did not know that the communication systems in the drones had moved from Starlink, for the most part, to this new fiber optic system. See, there's where I had to stop. I was wrong. I'm claiming ignorance now, and I'm going to do a whole video on that technology because I'm a human being, and I get things wrong, and I don't know everything. I wish more people had that kind of humility when they were going over things. Let's see. It wasn't a pedo ring, dude. See, this is where someone who thinks they're very smart and they're super aggressive in there know what's going. It wasn't a pedo ring, man. There were 8 arrests. Okay, it was a sting. Especially because of all these people who are in Vegas. Vegas is a big, not only tourism, but like the CES shows, trade shows, they're there. They have a lot of people in there. And yes, they held a sting for individuals who are trying to contact and have sex with children. That was not a ring. Okay, you want to talk about a ring? All right, we can talk about that Alabama torture house. That's a ring. Okay? Man. Just, it's very bizarre. Yes. Yeah, of course I did, Murray. You know that. And again, man, we named him by name. Was it Artyom Thomas Abramovic? It wasn't Abramovic. Alexandrovic. That's how good my brain is. Okay? Just like, we've talked about the Adelson, Miriam Adelson, now alive. Okay, her husband not anymore, and their relationship with Trump. Okay, just again, and this is all Trump's people getting involved in this. Okay, man. Just some Malice says there's only going to be just heavily redacted nothing burgers, whole lot of nothing. They say it's all AI photos and videos. I don't know if that's going to be it. Who knows, folks? We're going to wrap it up, and you know the drill. It is not about left or right to me. It's always about right and wrong. I want to say it again. I really do need you now more than ever. School starts for the kids on Monday. I got bills by the 1st. I wish I had some paid gigs because they really do help me do this. But you guys are it right now. The Bermas Brigade has continued to come through in the past. I know you're going to come through in the future, and I want to thank all of you again that have supported me. Consider not only the Buy Me a Coffee, but the PayPal down below. Thank you so much. I absolutely love you guys, and we'll be talking about this one for a while, so I'll see you on the flip side.